All right. Hello. Welcome everyone back to another edition of the Happy Hour Show. We got Motley Invest over here.
Hello,
Randy
Cabana.
Hilarski back in the building, virtual beach. Hexy Bastard from the UK. My sympathy, sir, to your supreme leader who passed yesterday.
I'm very gutted. I'm very sad.
I'm sorry. Is that like the overall mood in the country?
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I was like sitting there. I was like, "Are you though? Are you the monarchy thing?"
Some people are just like, I can't take it anymore.
The normies mostly are like that, but they're the same people that I don't fuck with those guys anyway. So.
Gotcha.
Hey.
Well,
gentlemen,
Big Kirkowski in the building.
Hey.
what are we talking about? Are we talking about royal drama? Oh my gosh, my favorite subject. I can't.
King K, everyone.
King K.
Indeed. That is a fine ring to it, boys. What's going on today? How's everybody doing?
Good.
Fantastic. And first time guest. He's on his way back to his own studio, but excited to talk to this guy. He's got a bunch of great videos out with Motley Investor, 410Ds. They've had some really cool talks. Dixon Piper, man, welcome.
Howdy. What's up?
What's up? Chartmaster, as also known.
Yeah, pull up a chart right now. So.
Yeah, pull up a chart. See if you really have mastered the art.
Yeah, let me just.
But we can get some of those later if you have, some time or anything of interest to look at. I guess we were just spouting in the green room a little bit that bear. We're getting some bear relief right now, but how much do crypto and traditional markets follow in lockstep? Or actually, I saw might have been a week or two ago, Dixon and Wendy's talking. I think Wendy's was, and he may be correct here, ETH runs into the merge. And I think, Dixon, you were kind of skeptical of that. Any revised thoughts on that one?
I told him it would dump the day before. He said it would dump the day after.
Okay, so we're still good for a run, you think?
Yeah. I don't. Man, it looks like it's going to keep running. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think it runs for a couple more days and then dumps. Dumps after CPI numbers.
I honestly didn't expect the stock market to run 2.5% today. So that was kind of unexpected.
And he's gone.
That was unexpected.
Oh, that was unexpected.
Did you rug him, Cabana?
No, I did not.
It's all part of the bit. He's just.
That's interesting. Goodbye.
Yes. Tell us more. Go on. And as you can see, I am wearing I guess the lighting is off. It is not a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. It is a Green Bay Packers jersey.
Oh, even worse.
In honor of the
Steelers
opening weekend of the NFL. Who's your team, Big K?
Yeah, who's
the Chicago Bears, sir.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
right. Rub it in.
AA Rod 12, baby. He's my favorite player. I'm like Ravens fan because they're closer, and I guess DC I should be, but never.
I get it. Here's the thing. It's like my dad moved here from England, and when he did, he had picked a team. What team do you pick? You hear all these teams. You pick the one with the heartwarming story of the town that rose together to have their own team, and it brings a tear to your eye, But every good team has to have a foil, and if that's the case, well, I'm happy to be that foil. So screw the Packers, screw Green Bay.
Thank you for that wonderful
Bears.
Analysis. The Bears. Yes, the Bears. What's up, Chris in chat? We'll go through chat here in a second. My fandom, I also have fandom of the Cowboys, and I blame this on my grandmother.
Oh, man, you are really
so this one, I literally came out of the womb in Cowboys garb. Like, she was a Tom Landry
I guess
fan.
I
guess my grandfather was cool with that. But yeah, so I was raised a Cowboys fan by my grandmother, and then I guess my family was Skins fans, so mom and dad didn't really Yeah, like that. No, I don't have a cheese hat. Do I need one? I guess I do. I'm not like a true Green Bay like hardcore. Like I like Mr. Rogers, been a fantasy quarterback of mine for a long time. Paladin, I'll see you in chat. We'll get your question up here shortly.
It's just unfair, they just shit out fantastic quarterbacks there, one after another. And the Bears we've gone through our best quarterback over the past, I don't know, 25, 30 years was, I mean, on paper, Jay Cutler, and that's still pretty. It's terrible.
Jay Cutler, shit. What's up? We have a replacement while Dixon Piper gets home and gets set up.
Yo,
this guy just talks about 5 cents though.
4.3 cents.
Yeah, I've been a Bills. Look, guys, I've been a Bills fan since OJ, so I'm old.
Yeah,
oh,
so
I remember like
Thurman
Thomas. That was my best football card for a while.
Yeah.
Remember?
See, I have a certain
Thomas.
love for other people that know what pain is and loss. So I understand. I feel for you. As a Cubs fan, Bears fan, we revel in suck. So, anyways, onwards to winning topics. What's going? What's
Well, we were talking, markets are up a bit today, but it's just kind of like, could this be likely another bounce and then it gets sold eventually? But what's going to be the trigger that causes the next sell off? Or will we get one? Have we bottomed?
Doth
Shmita. But what is up, Mr. DJ Cryptomatic? Shout out to him for rating over.
have you guys seen this Bitcoin Bull t-shirt?
With the Ethereum logo?
Gross.
Is that the one without the balls?
Yeah, in Miami. Let's go through chat here. Eagle AI, happy Friday. Chris, Footsteps, Hex. I always say Devon because of WWE, but I'm guessing it's Devon.
It's Devon.
Devon and Bubba Ray, the Dudley Boys, if anyone watches WWE.
Oh, yeah.
That was like one of the best tag teams ever. Crypto Heartbeat, what is going on, my man? I'll have to get you back on the show soon. Kaiza, what's going on? Junkie, what is going on? Oscar, where is Bubba Ray? Hex Devon? No, Hex Devon. What's going on? It's Marion. We already have a first super chat question. We're going to get to that here in a second. Bufo, what's up? Cashew, hello. All down the line. Give me liberty. Oh, he's actually like real time. He's not going to telegram me tomorrow correcting our show and correcting me when Brexit was, which it was actually 2016, right? Yeah. I was saying it could have been 2015 due to the Shemitah calendar that we were looking at, or Shemitah chart.
Man.
Must have finished up his round of golf today.
I think he's a little early. Lots of Dicka and Bears in the chat.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's going back.
Hello there, shitcoin fork. How are you? All right. I see you there. All right.
I had to make that account. Just because it's the only way I can. My whole thing's been banned off YouTube. Like all my Google accounts got banned.
Oh, damn.
Oh, like all of them?
Yeah. Anything linked to me, they banned me as a person. They didn't just ban the one account.
Tangent. Like,
luckily they didn't like delete all my Gmails and stuff. That would have been a nightmare.
That was so nice of them.
They go like
even though
on you, they just cancel.
I've been transitioning away from Gmail, and I have my own mail server now. But it takes time to like have emails come in and make sure that everything has new emails. So it would have been a shit show if they had actually canned all my Gmails.
What'd you do?
The question.
What was the?
It was not a question. It was just a comment. But thank you, Paladin. Does Shemitah roll downhill or does it like to hit fans?
It does both, especially in a Jubilee year.
Yeah, and we mentioned. I saw your tweet just Shemitah yesterday, Randy, in light of news events. I was like, oh yeah, there you go. All right, football fans in the chat. So we have Bears from Arizona. We got Giants. We got Fly Eagles Fly, who I can't stand the Eagles, but I have a big fantasy bet on them this year. I think their offensive roster is awesome. We'll see. Go Jalen Hurts. Let's see. Fly Eagles Fly. What's up, Briz? Briz in chat. A lot. Wow, chat is active. Okay, I'm just struggling to keep up.
It's flying. I'm trying to keep up over here. Like,
shout out to Tangent on Scream. Yeah, so he before he passed out, he wanted to come by and say hello.
Wait, Orca reckons that I will fall asleep before Hex gets to 4.3 cents. He didn't say it directly. He just I said I will stream again if it hits 4.3 before I go to sleep, and he said sweet dreams.
Yeah, we're at 4.1, bro. So
You might make it.
you got a ways to go.
Might get a little bounce.
Possible. Shemitah is the trigger. Bitcoin and Hedron leading all markets. Yeah, we had a nice little bounce in Hedron. Had a whale trying to, well, he did dump down the price. I don't know what the motives are. Any speculation?
I wonder
on
who
that?
it was. Yeah.
Motley, why did you dump Hedron?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Wait, it's less than 5%. It's less than 5% from here up to 4.3 cents.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's in crypto. In crypto, that could happen in an instant.
Hex has been so sideways lately, though, hasn't it? Like it's not really moving.
It's been sideways for a while.
stable coin.
Yeah.
Stable coin.
We need one of those right now.
Stable coin earning that luscious yield in our wallets. So yeah, that's actually, what am I looking at here before I pull it up? I'm looking at the weekly. So yeah, we're kind of just like in a very, I don't know, minimal bounce area. Who else is in chat here? Hexual Chocolate. Hey, any fan of Mark Henry, who is Sexual Chocolate in WWE? Got the WWE trivia going today.
I remember him.
Jerry Oaksmith, what's going on? Align the light. A lot of new faces in here. What's up, guys? Nicely said, Cabana. Was that me giving you credit for Brexit? But anyway, give me liberty. Yeah, Riz commenting. Wow. Okay, I think I've reached Rangers. Where are we talking? Like hockey or baseball or soccer? So I don't know. Can't keep up.
She's from the UK. She's like me, man. I don't have a fucking clue what you guys are on about.
Okay, so like probably the football team then. I would guess.
Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. She might be on about that. Yeah. Rangers.
Yeah.
Dog Rangers.
So I thought she was naming some NFL team, but obviously not.
What the heck?
When we were up in Glasgow, we bought my son a raincoat, but we bought a Celtics, the Glasgow Celtics raincoat. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know about the fucking politics. I'm walking down the street, guy comes up to me and goes, "Why is your kid wearing that shirt, jacket?" I'm like, "What's the problem?" He goes, "We don't wear that around here." I'm like, fuck, man. He's 4.
He's like, well, he's about to catch a beat down in this alleyway.
Get headbutted, mate.
That shit's great, man.
All right. D-Fed, what's going on, man? We had a did anybody see this? Because I only heard about it. So apparently Funding Jim had a stream and it got a little...
I did not see it, thankfully.
I have heard...
I think I know which bit you're on about. I seen it.
Freaking Franklin hit me up and like told me to go watch it.
It's when Coffee, Dollar Cost Crypto, and someone else who I can't remember was on. Basically, they got streamer trolled like quite badly.
Very badly. I don't even know if those assholes told Gary, because I messaged him and it sounded like he didn't even know about it. Like, you gotta let him know that was on the channel.
Yeah, I saw him initially. Well, I know he obviously figured it out later, but initially somebody had like retweeted it, like, "Bro, did you see this stream?" And Gary just like had responded like, "Yeah, check it out here," whatever. Like,
I was texting him. I was like, "Bro," I was like, "You need to pull that shit down and edit it ASAP."
I think he's made the video private now. So
yeah, it is.
Good.
Oh, is the YouTube link still out there? So if you
I was a co-host. Shit,
I was a co-host in the Twitter Spaces. But there was also Orca was shitting on me for not like objecting to some of the things that were being said. But I was like, man, there was barely any space to actually, and I didn't want to just be constantly interjecting, talking over the top of people. And it was basically people were talking the entire time. So it was very difficult to like comment. It wasn't like you could be a commentator when to speak, you have to interrupt everyone else, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. We talk about the same thing here. This was the.
I don't think so.
No.
Oh,
someone they invited someone on. They let someone on who they thought it was Chris Side Pex. I can't really
psychedelic.
That's it. Yeah. They thought it was him, but it wasn't. It was just someone using his name, and then basically he switched to a video of like
troll full
a
of
guy having a shit, and then a lot of like racist.
Oh my god!
Racist poop.
Doo-doo,
all kinds of
butt stuff.
All kinds of shit.
Racist doo-doo butt stuff.
You should
those things.
Fucking Crypto Coffee's face, bro. Like,
was this a deliberate attack? Was this a deliberate attack on Hex, or someone's just trying?
I don't know.
It
was just like because there was a StreamYard link. They just hopped in and decided to troll. I guess I don't know.
They were so stunned; it took them like 15 seconds to get it off. They're just like,
and DCC was just laughing his ass off as well. Like he didn't care. He just thought it was funny. But Coffee looked absolutely scarred, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was an attack on the eyeballs and minds of Hexagons.
Damn, I'm glad I missed that.
Yeah, same.
So this is not the Netflix. This is not the same as the Netflix stream. This is not like the Netflix CEO or whatever. Netflix co-founder.
This was.
Someone said it was like 2 girls in a cup without the girls.
Yes, it was much worse. It was much worse.
Just all the worst parts, like just.
Wow.
Damn, man.
Yeah. Okay. So,
congratulations to PulseCon. PulseCon went well, I heard. I mean, so way to go, guys.
Do you guys remember Ivan on Tech? Yeah. He used to trust his community when they would send links in, and he would just click links. And then one time he opened up a link, and it was like 2 dogs having sex, and he was like, "All right, I'm never opening up any links live ever again. You just ruined it for everyone." And never ever again did it.
I mean,
how about Randy and a horse?
Oh god, I knew you were gonna bring it up. Randy and the horse.
What was this?
Discord Syndicate, one of the first ones we ever did. I think it was the first 24-hour. And I don't know. My wife was next to me on a phone. She's looking at a video and saw a chick jerking off a horse, and I put it up on the. I said, "Guys, check out what my wife is looking at." I thought RG3 was gonna have a heart attack.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Shit.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Were you on DS?
Yeah. This person didn't get back in the day. Early. I mean, you're talking early 2020.
Speaking of RG3, I saw, and Funding Gym, I saw they had a good time in Vegas. So,
it's perfect.
Looking good there with Gerardo and K4K and Gary. And
why did they make Gerardo's feet so big? I've just noticed that.
Yeah, they're giant.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
That meme just kept escalating.
Oh man, I feel bad for RG3. All these short jokes.
Dude, he brings it. He brings it on himself. He's on his tiptoes in every picture. The internet's savage. Oh god.
Okay, and chat comments. So, Liberty, he usually listens to us at I guess 2x and replay. You guys sound stoned at 1x speed. So, welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome
I'm stoned at 1x speed or 2x speed or whatever x speed you're at. I'm probably stoned that way still.
Yeah. Okay. What do we have to start off with? Well, what is everyone drinking tonight? We have a little Bacardi Black here. You have a Celsius, sir? That is not allowed. That word is not allowed on the show.
Stay wrecked. Stay wrecked.
Stay wrecked.
One of our hex sharks who visited Panama from Malta brought me some limoncello, and I'm hitting the limoncello.
You know, yeah.
And Big K, what have you brought for show and tell?
This is I guess I get this is some pretty sick artwork actually though. It is a guava goes. So like, gozes are like sour beers kind of. The taste's very tart. It's like almost like a beer meets a kombucha. Fantastic local brew here that's like just, I mean, it's refreshing, great during the daytime, has a good guava kick to it, but it's still like, has a nice little bit of hoppy punch too. And like I said, this artwork is rad, man. Super rad.
Cool. Enjoy that tasty beverage, my friend.
I shall.
All right. What we have first up here, as chat keeps filling up, we are going to talk about, has anyone ever gone to the wrong White House, the whitehouse.com?
We used to do that with like I'm talking middle school, like when I was in probably 7th grade, kids, because like you could go to there without the censors kicking you like blocking the page, because they're like, of course it's good White House, it's legit. So we've been there and applied it to many computers in the computer lab.
Doing the hex.com but with whitehouse.com back in the day.
That was pretty much I knew that's actually, you know what, that's some full circle shit, because I forgot that's where
full circle shit. All right, what do we have here? Oh yes, this is what I was. So on whitehouse.gov we have this handy dandy climate and energy implications of crypto assets in the United States report. So basically, they're saying that crypto assets could hinder U.S. climate efforts. Specifically, which ones? Well, one comes to mind that cause a lot of waste. Yeah, proof of work, that whole concept. So, any thoughts on this? Is this just like political posturing? It's just all silliness to me. But I don't know. When you have like Gensler talking potential regulation, maybe late this year, next year, who knows, 2024, whatever. The talk of speculation has been Bitcoin's going to definitely be the one that sticks around, and then you have the government doing their climate change BS, and then this would target Bitcoin, and proof of stake coins would come out the winner here. So I don't know. Motley, Big K, any takes on this hot mess?
Let's go PulseChain.
Yay, PulseChain.
It's so green.
It's green.
Green.
I mean, I think that if you want to think about it like that, like you could even go, if you care about the Bitcoin side of things and the mining side of things at all. I mean, like what's the, like, if 75% of mining is already green, and like the way that power costs, at least as we've all been seeing recently, have been going, most people, anybody that wants to operate mining operations going forward for the long term has to like have the real belief in the crypto side of things, and will most likely and a long-term vision, and most likely want to be using green power anyways, because it's like it's not really profitable to be paying 20, 30, 40, whatever cents a kilowatt hour to running mining rings. It just isn't, so like on a non-commercial scale, no one's going to do it, almost nobody, unless just for hobbyists or for the purpose of like gaining coins that are off, that aren't like attached to any, pseudonymous
shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's some reasons, but I mean, over the vast majority of what will be industrialized mining, they are going to require either deals with electrical companies, hydroelectric, whatever, you see that in Canada and shit, or they're going to need green energy of, solar, whatever. Otherwise, it really is not going to, I don't think it's going to be that feasible going forward long term. I mean, it's just so like, whatever, like this report doesn't really, so like, I mean, what is the government going to do about it? Maybe they say, hey, if you're going to be, creating a mining facility, then you also have to consider the costs of, the green energy that you need to, supply. So like they might require that, I mean, that, and which, I mean,
or buying the carbon credits to offset
or buy the carbon credits to offset it or something like that. Which I mean, like in the end, if it's not I'm not like cool with the government forcing you to take your power one way or another, but like at the same time, it's one of those litigation after the fact kind of things, anyways. Because if electricity prices stay as high as they are going forward, then like you will have to use green. It's like the government being like, you're gonna have to use green mining is like people that are gonna be like, no shit, like we are like this. It's the only way this is feasible, so it's you know what I mean. Like I don't really think it's they're gonna change much of what is already taking place in the market. So
Yo, there was a Bitcoiner that dropped something epic on this topic. He said, do you seriously expect me to believe that governments can work out the best composition for the atmosphere of our planet? And even if I do accept that as an assumption that governments can work out what that needs to be, the way I would move forward would be grossly different from what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't think that I mean, that's that. The second part goes as
well. They're looking at one gas. They're looking at one gas. It's just like a war on carbon. It's carbon dioxide. They don't look at anything else. They literally look at nothing else.
I think they still do also pay attention to like methane and some other shit too that like is also high long chain molecules.
Yeah, that's true.
So they do look at some of that other stuff, CO2, carbon monoxide. I think they give a shit about too, So that's like, I mean, it's a little bit more than all that, but I do think that
the regulation, the taxes and regulations and shit like that are mainly like carbon dioxide based.
Yeah, for sure. That's what they mostly are talking about now. And like I said, again, I don't think that for crypto mining, this really. Like I said, if you're a small-time miner doing something for the reason of having un-KYC'd coins, or to support the network or whatever, just learn what's going on, or speculate on some random coins, then sure, I think that there's still I'm sure there's still going to be some people, but like the overall landscape where people are going to be paying more than it costs to mine the coins just won't exist, so like I just don't understand why this matters. That's all I guess I'm saying is I mean, like, it's cool that the government took some tax dollars of ours and paid somebody to write a cool report here. That was cool, I guess, but like, again, I think that they're behind, like, yeah, we know it's expensive for electricity, and you're going to want to probably use some green resources just for the cost. I'm not even talking about like environmental fucking impact or anything like that. Like, I'm just saying to make money at it, doing it at all, so.
Shout out to Hexy Bastard. Hey, Hexy Bastard, so much rosé. I need some PP.
Lol.
Did you sacrifice? Notice the Hex Lotus. That's
I mean, like after the merge, you got to figure that I was doing some numbers, and like, even if you don't have less than 10 cent, 7 cent an hour, 7 cent per kilowatt hour, like electric rates, like you're not even going to be anywhere close to break even anytime soon with like almost any equipment that's new on the market today. It's insane. So like, I don't know anybody that gets that kind of rates non-industrially, and so it's just it's a tough market out there for crypto mining. Sorry. Anyways, back.
Speaking of markets, Bitfinesse is on the Freightliner market, the semi market. He's buying them for $20K or less and never selling. They'll survive under my care. They buy T-shares and never break down. Good job, Bitfinesse. Always stacking the T-shares, my man.
Bitfinesse is a G.
He is a G. He is a G.
Remember when he used to come on kind of not sober in the early days of DS and just go off? Why we need to buy? Why we need
the captain would just like mute him and he would just keep talking for like 20 minutes. We'd have a separate conversation and he'd just keep going up in the corner. I miss those days.
Oh, man.
Good times.
So this one was pretty interesting. So this one was Senior Armstrong of Coinbase, and this is posted on the old Coinbase blog. And pretty much they are suing, I think it's the Treasury Department, for their actions, their sanctions of Tornado Cash. So here, what I think is like really interesting is you have like Armstrong, one, talking about this, two, he's in like CeFi and he's going after DeFi. So good for you, dude. Good for you. Tangent, I know you've been pretty passionate about this topic, and any takes on this, or just where the whole Tornado Cash thing stands, or any latest opinions that I'm not aware of.
I'm not a massive fan of Coinbase, but I obviously am pumped that they are supporting this this side of the issue. I mean, I think time will be a win for the Tornado Cash side, right? It is totally ridiculous, and with good lawyers and the support of wealthy crypto enthusiasts, this will go the way that we want. But it's this time from now until they force everyone to start acting right, which is not great.
There you go. Big K? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
I agree. No, I agree. I mean, I think it is. I mean, even if it's solely for the fact that for their bottom line and for the amount of chain analysis that they're going to have to do to deal with this issue going forward, it, is forcing them to take this stance, because it's not entirely, I don't believe that, corporations like this do everything out of the fucking kindness of their heart very often. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like how it usually goes down. So, I mean, I think that they're like, as we've seen these dusting attacks that people have done to notable wallets, as we've seen, the trickiness of dealing with this kind of thing, or forcing any institution to deal with it, it's just as much in their best interest to fight back against it too.
Absolutely, because they're going to list a lot of this crap and make money off of it. So yeah, it's good of them financially to defend something like this.
Did you guys see my tweet about the I think it comes from Max Kaiser, who I know is not popular in the Hex community, but it's got like a 6-step process. It's like, 1, identify all major loans on Aave, then send ETH from Tornado Cash to all wallets with major loans. Let Aave block all the wallets. Short ETH, initiate ETH dump, watch liquidation cascade, and no one can do shit about it.
I know Richard made a comment in Twitter Spaces that he reached out to some legal advice, and he said what they did pass was only in regards to USDC going through Tornado Cash. Yeah. No other crypto. So it's interesting.
That's right. He did mention that. So
I haven't looked into it, but something to consider.
But but remember that the dusting attack that happened on some of the celebrities,
yes,
and well-known people, that was they were dusted with 0.1 ETH, and Aave blocked their accounts.
I don't. So get actual confirmation.
But I think you are correct.
Yeah, there was definitely people that were.
You're certainly correct about Richard's tweet, and I think that he may also be correct. However, you've got to remember that some of these clowns are over-complying. So Aave is probably over-complying. They probably only need to block people who have USDC that's gone through Tornado Cash, and yet they're probably doing anything just to be sure. So I think this is a case of over-compliance. So that means we can both be correct.
There you go.
But that would be like really fucking harsh, though, if you could just Tornado Cash shit through to people's wallets and then they get blocked, and that's just so harsh. I mean, even what they did with the USDC was really harsh, but it was just the USDC that was like locked into Tornado Cash at the time when they did it, right? And or is it still moving forward? Like any USDC that goes into Tornado Cash just gets turned off by default now. I don't really know what the crack is with it, but
I know that like I don't know if they turn it off or if just the sites like the endpoints exchanges and or DeFi protocols like Aave won't interact with your wallet. So like similar.
So people could be sitting on USDC right now that if they try and withdraw it, they'll just be like, nope.
I believe so.
The key is just avoid anything that's somewhat centralized. Stay with the decentralized stuff.
Well, even with Aave, if you're capable enough, you could just probably do another front end. If you could write another front end, right, to interact with it.
I'm not actually sure if you can. I don't actually know. Aave and Curve. I remember there being Richard talking about this and me like trying to look into this. That like there's some functions that like their front end only can be that like are coded in there that they can only interact with. So like you can't actually entirely write a front end for Aave. I don't believe so.
Because I know Fiat's doing a fork of Aave, and I believe their admin keys essentially give them the ability to add and remove different cryptocurrencies, like different pools, but like no access to the actual pools, or like I don't know if you'd actually be able to just shut down the lending feature or not. Like
no, you wouldn't. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, as far as I understood, the way that theirs is that like that's. I mean, nobody has. I don't think that there is, unless correct. Chat by all means correct me, but I do not believe that there is any other front ends that anyone's ever made for Aave, and I don't think, and I'm pretty sure you can't, whether it be legal or coding reasons. But I mean, somebody by all means correct me. So like I mean that's and like I'm not saying that you can't. Somebody might not be able to use actual functions on through Etherscan. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a seriously limiting thing when in general a lot of these DeFi platforms only have one front end, and or I mean like whether it be that they can only have one front end or don't have a strong enough community or a need
to build others,
or they feel like they don't have a need.
Yeah, that's why it's cool that we have like 4 or 5.
Yeah, more all the time.
So I think it was Motley maybe, or someone had brought up like bigger players in crypto. So obviously, Coinbase is like one of them, who actually have pockets to do something like this. And I think it was on like with RH Max, and it was like a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking like what's next with like this, people versus the government kind of thing. And I'm like, you need some of these big players to actually step forward. I would say, you have like a Chamath, you got like the Winklevi, they just have stacks and stacks and stacks of Bitcoin.
It's wild.
Radio silent about this. Like the
our
privacy.
Our community puts more effort and funding into politics, funding, like all this stuff than these mega rich Bitcoiners. It's wild to me. And like I think what Richard counters all the time about with like they don't even pay $60,000 for a fucking audit, like some audits on this shit. They like clean up the Bitcoin code. Like it's crazy. Like it's nothing. It's so much of their fortunes tied up into it. You think they would like pull that together, but they don't even cough up $60,000 for an audit.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It doesn't sit
well and then the other thing is I'm not also saying that there may have been corporations or companies that use Bitcoin or that like have chosen to audit it themselves that wouldn't make it public for whatever profiteering reasons. Like I mean, I'm not saying that it's true, but I mean, like, you wonder about that, like if so many people have pushed as much money into it as they have over the years.
Think so.
You'd think so. And like, if not, then is everybody that dumb? Or if not, is somebody just not shared that information because they don't find a financial, they don't see a benefit to it,
And there you go. What is next on this magical show list here? Oh, Crypto Kool-Aid. Good to see you alive, sir. You were
survived
lit.
another Burning Man.
Oh my gosh, the dancing
Party mode
videos.
for weeks.
Yeah, good to see you alive. I'm still praying for Sammy. I think she's out there for like another week or something. So, Sammy Chica, best of luck. I hope you guys are staying hydrated, and I hope all of our Hexicans have, if you're traveling and you're already on your way back, made it back safely. Let's see here. Let's just bring up, I guess, a few Vegas memory. Oh, let's do an ode to Mr. Armstrong first, real quick. Earns money as a CeFi company, pays to defend your DeFi rights.
Hey.
Yo. All right. So Vegas, Marco and RH. So this is the golf tournament. We got Sammy, Expensive Taste, a bunch of the DeFi ladies there. That's one Hexy B right there. And Richard Hart. Richard had a lot of cutouts there.
Whoever got those cutouts made is a fucking legend.
Yeah, I think Power City. I think Power City did those. I'm not sure.
Did any of them get drawn on?
I see someone like making out with one, and
that's coming up.
Cabana's little slideshow.
Georgia, behave. Oh my God. That tongue is a weapon, girl. Put that thing away.
Richard better get security if he ever meets her in person.
Freddie quotes performing. Looks like, I think, is that
Corey? That's
yeah,
Corey.
it is Corey.
Or it might be Casey. Shit. Now
I know. I was like, I didn't want to say. Thanks, Motley. Right.
That might be Casey.
Freddie, Sammy, great panel here. We got Mars, Jim Rat, Dipcatcher, Freddie, Gold Key, and A-Bit, and of course, last but not least, we have
that's the best.
Yeah, so the best one there. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
That's my favorite.
What else do we have here? So let's see. Oh yeah, Randy, I saw you talk about this one, so maybe you can lead off on this one. So we have Binance issue of the third largest stablecoin to stop supporting the larger rival USDC. So pretty much they're just converting users from USDC to their own BUSD. I guess on the surface it's like, oh, they're phasing out USDC, but I think it's just like an ecosystem play. Would it not be?
Yeah. So what we saw is we saw that it was really weird. And one day Binance just printed a shit ton of BUSD, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on? Is the market about to pump or something? And then this news came out that there's everyone who has USDC on Binance is going to get USDC. I don't use centralized exchanges anymore. Haven't used them in a couple of years, but this is a good play on their part because they are not in the U.S. So people can shit on it all they want, but BUSD works. Right? Say what you will, but it works, and they don't block your account for using it.
I think Binance is just doing it for their own gain. I mean, that's the new thing is everyone to just build their own stable coin.
Yep. We will too. We'll have our own, I hope, besides LUSD.
There's so much fun about stable coins these days, man. Like every day
they're not good.
New
a lot of them are trash.
They're not good, but like in a bear market, it's your best friend, right?
Well, no, it's great, but I'm just saying they have critical failures with just straight up off switches, and even DAI is over collateralized now with USDC and Tether. Like it's just there's no like good stable coin. Like that's the one. That's what I want to use. That's what I want all my net worth in.
Can I ask the panel what your stable coin of choice is?
DAI.
USDC for me now.
USDC.
I would like to see DAI go back to being just backed by ETH. I know they
already said it.
I know they said it. They're not done it yet. It doesn't matter until they do it. So I think USDC you probably get another. You're probably safe this run, but after this next cycle, I would probably look into alternatives like DAI, especially if they go back to just ETH.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be using USDC. Fuck that noise. That's centralized coin now. The C is for centralized.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something interesting I worked out about DAI, right? Even though it is dominantly backed by USDC, it almost acts like a wrapper so that they can't actually freeze. It's like holding USDC without holding USDC. They can't freeze your DAI, and they can't freeze the USDC that backs your DAI, because then they'd be freezing everyone's backing, not just yours. So DAI is an interesting sort of solution if you want to hold USDC without the risk of like corrupt centralized entities seizing or freezing your shit.
I agree.
There you go. Crypto Ewok trying to figure out if Cabana is wearing a Packers jersey, and did you lose a bet? Har 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 har. But yes, it is a Packers jersey. Then we will get into football here shortly. Talk about the game. But yeah.
G Unit has a good question about the CBDCs. Yeah, there you go. The CBDC is coming to play. Does that not mean they'll force us to use their stable coins? They might, but you don't. I believe that we're going to have a parallel network. I think the cryptos will be parallel, right? So CBDCs, it's already been announced the U.S. is rolling them out in the spring. So during the Jubilee year, CBDC is going to be rolled out across the planet. Get ready, fuckers. It's coming. So
CBDC is the opposite of crypto.
Exactly, but it's still controlled by the central banks, and that they're going to give you. I believe they're going to use the carrot method, and then later on they use the force method. So in the beginning, they're going to be like, "Hey, come use our CBDCs. We're going to give you something for it," and then later on, they're going to be like, "Use it, or you have no access to the financial system." So right now, we're going to have a parallel. It might be a 5-6 year event. They said 2030, you'll be happy and you'll own nothing. Well, we have a couple of years until we get to that point. So I think crypto is going to parallel run for a bunch of years before they actually try to force us by gunpoint to use the CBDCs.
Make your money now.
Make your money now.
Seriously.
People hate Andrew Tate, but he said it. He said, "This is your last freaking chance to get rich, people. Get rich now, or it's too late."
Yeah, it's true.
No pressure.
Yeah,
that's the most terrifying phrase ever. Is like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Like I fucking mean it. You will be happy. Like
said by one of the richest, most corrupt guys ever.
Yeah, fuck you.
Crickets as he flies his private jet. Like fuck off.
And someone has to own the shit though. So saying you own nothing means we own everything.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're buying up all the property and stuff like that. I don't know about property prices in the US right now, but in the UK, it's like way too high. Like rental prices and stuff.
They're coming
like
down
that
a little bit.
Insane. I used to be able to get in my city a nice 3-bedroom house for about £600 a month, like a nice one, nice area. Same thing now is double that.
Double, yeah.
And this was only like 5 years ago or something. It's gone up by double in 5 years. Like, what the fuck? You know, surely it's got to crash. But I'm actually looking to move.
People growing up now they'll just rent. Like people can't afford to buy houses anymore.
No. Yeah, but the thing is, I thought that with these prices that like no one would be buying them, but like because I'm looking to move to a new rented place soon, so I've been like inquiring about a few places. Every time I ring someone, they're like, "Oh no, we've already got too many viewings. It's like fully booked up. We can't." Yeah. You know, so like people are still rushing to buy it or rent it for like £1,200 a month when it used to be half that 5 years ago. But people are still like
it's companies too. I don't know about UK, but I mean BlackRock's made a huge position in residential real estate now. Like they're buying up all the residential stuff and they just rent it.
Did they buy your house?
Yep. A sub company of theirs, but yeah, super easy too. I was like done in like a month. They pay me like a premium. Good to go.
Like a House Vana kind of thing, just it
was Open Door, I believe, is the company.
Just like they come out and be like, "Oh, here's your check. All right, thanks."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, walk through your house, video it, answer some questions." They do a little bit of their due diligence, and then like you're done. And even the notary was done online, like a video session like this. Like
that's nuts.
It was wild. It was wild. Yep.
Vic Kahuna asks, "Why HEX DAI pair has such low liquidity?"
It's up to you. Add it.
Yep. There you go.
Simple.
I think I have a theory why. I think there's a bit of a myth going around that if you're in an LP at the time of the PulseChain fork, that you might not get your tokens or you might not be able to easily access them. So I think people are fearful of having economic energy within LPs if they are HEX, like if they're Pulse, like Richard Hart community, because they're very focused on the fork and scared that is a potential. And because Richard hasn't given a lot of clarity. While I assume that won't be the case, Richard hasn't actually said anything that would confirm how that shit's going to work. Because remember, these LPs are not on PulseX. Like, this is it'll be a Uniswap LP now, and then the dominant LPs will be on PulseX. So it's whether the Reaper bot, like the harvesting bot or whatever it is, the ratio bot, is going to mess with shit, and that. So there's a few unknowns that haven't been clarified.
I think you'll still give a heads up time frame. Like, you'll give us some sort of time frame so you can adjust those LP positions, and then it just depends what your actual pairing is. Like, obviously there's going to be some coins that hold their value better on PulseChain than others. So people,
what kind of time frame, Motley? Hours?
Yeah, bro. Hours. No, I think you'll give us a couple days to a week.
Really?
Potentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At least a couple days. I think 48 hours at a minimum.
All right. Any
Wait, you think he's gonna give us like 5 minutes? Like, all right, guys, you got 10 minutes.
I'd say like a day.
Some people think zero. Some people think he's going to launch it without saying anything.
I hope so.
He'll give a small time window.
I'd say less than a day.
I hope so.
I would love that. Yeah. Big K, any takes on that one? Time frames. Ideally, what would you love? Just drop it
now, right now.
PulseChain is live. No. Any other takes on that one? Bastard?
That would be cool. I'm down with that.
It would be cool if you just launched it with no warning, because then no one can fuck around with it.
If it was ready.
That's why I love it. Yeah. Randy, any takes on that one?
Well, that was the narrative. At one point, he said very limited or no warning to prevent people from trying to game the system.
Yep.
Because the traders are going to come in. He doesn't want that.
We've seen it twice.
Yeah.
The past two false starts.
I think
who's that one trader that makes all the videos, and he was so pissed?
Crypto Sniper.
Not Crypto Sniper. I'm supposed to meet him in a couple months. He
really?
was part-time in Panama.
I think he was trying to sell his sack for like 2.5x, I think is what he offered on one of his videos recently. I was like, get out of here. It was funny to me because he was just like, yeah, I believe Richard's going to build good products and all this stuff. He's like, but I'd much rather have the cash right now. It's like, oh, look at this. This freaking amazing trader is desperate for cash.
I believe would take these off my hands.
Yeah. It's like, I just need cash right now. Okay, guys.
How much do you believe, sir? Not much.
I missed that. I have to say something when I see him.
I'll send you I'll try to find the link. Someone sent it to me.
Cool.
Maybe he just believes there's going to be a dump after launch, though, right? Like,
I
kind of no. I mean, with PulseChain, like, because I've been thinking this for a while, is especially like the amount of time that's gone by. People put in money when Hex was uploads, or not even just Hex, but everything was uploads. Now everything's downloads. So if PulseChain launches and you get the same value back that you put in, I think a lot of people would take the money there, and
every layer one's had a initial dip at some point. Like, it just happens. 80-90% retracement.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Take
property. So Give Me Liberty had a take on property. His wife is his property. He's a seller.
How much?
Oh boy. All right. Going back a little further in chat, this is a more fun question. So we were talking Vegas. So Michael Light asks, if you guys could describe the ultimate convention / conference, whatever, where, when, and what would make it really cool?
Don't have one. Just don't have one. Just
how about
out.
let's call it a meetup.
So one guy, God, I'm gonna forget his. It's like Nerd Girl's friend, but he had a good point for this. It's just like, if you guys really want a convention so bad, just go buy a booth at someone else's convention. Like, go buy a big setup for a fraction of the price of doing your own convention, and then get new eyeballs, new participants into PulseChain, and you'll probably stick out too, right? Like, I guarantee you our booth would have more activity than anyone else. You could do it at a tech conference. You could do it at all kinds of these cool conventions that aren't necessarily crypto, and just reach outside of our crypto bubble. So if you really want a convention or something that bad, go do something like that. Otherwise, just go meet up, hang out, and look like, so PulseCon had that little bit of a slip up early on, but what it turned out to be just a bunch of hexagons meeting up and doing some cool events. Like, that's what you should be focusing on. These conventions and stuff, they're stupid. You're literally putting a closed door off to like the people that we want to come in and check out our stuff. You're like, no, you got to pay X amount of dollars to get in. Like, this is dumb to me. waste of
Just
money.
do it the Hex UK way. We just pick a pub and just meet at the pub.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Rothko's.
Yeah, the one that we did in London, we had like 60 people there. It was so much
Yeah,
fun.
just in the spoonies.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was talking in the Discourse Syndicate or Wake Up Hex green room yesterday, and we were talking about meetups, and I was like, my favorite one so far was the perfect, I think, one. Props to that guy way over there, Big K. But that was a cool one because we had the facility kind of to ourselves. We were there for an event, but there was plenty of space. You weren't elbow to elbow, packed in like sardines. You had room to talk. You could walk up and get a drink whenever you wanted. But I mean, it was a decent amount of people, and you could hear everyone talk. You could carry on conversations. You could move freely about the indoor-outdoor space and strike up another conversation with another group. So, I know that's. It's the logistics are different for every place, but that was probably one of my favorite ones. Big K, that was just cool.
Thank
man.
you so much.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta. Planning events is tough because you have to figure out like what your goal is with it. What you actually want to get out of it. Why are we getting this done? I mean, if you want to have a meetup and like it's just for us to all get together, that's fine. But like, and it doesn't have to be. That shit doesn't have to be expensive. You can do that. Everybody can throw in a little bit of money to make something cool happen with, just for the fun of it. I mean, and like I went a little above and beyond because that was a super fun special occasion for myself, but like it worked because there wasn't some sort of, it wasn't like there's people were paying a bunch of money for like the draw of hanging out with each other, which we get to do here for free all the time. I mean, it's the same thing with like seeing, be like Richard, like do it. Like if Richard was going to come to a speaking engagement, I mean, like, I just don't think it would be something that would be a giant, huge draw because we get that for free all the time. Like he's willing to answer your fucking questions for hours on end on the internet, So like you have to couple stuff. If you're trying to do big events, you have to couple it with, like you said, other communities, other things going on. You mentioned,
and hire the right people for it too. Big K's got his own event coordinator. Like hire people that know what they're doing in that area.
Yeah, I mean that's crucial. I mean, like if you don't know, I mean it can go really poorly very quickly if you don't know what the heck you're doing with an event, and it can really look and feel like a nightmare. And like I mean, and I know that like at the end of it all, like if you do events and you have been, it's like that's the kind of thing that's a labor of love because like I don't know like tons of event coordinators that are just like bawling out of control from like throwing parties, like it's it's definitely more difficult to like just bank hard. So like, yeah, I think that like if I was like I said, I've said before, a great idea for it that I haven't actually gone through with because we've been doing the movie and lots of other things in my life is I think that like some sort of music event would be great because you already are going to have people there that are a fan base for that, that you're going to have people that'll pay to see whatever music events there, whatever performers you're going to have, and then you can introduce them. Like you said, you have a booth at other events like that, so that way you can introduce these people. Hey, we're going to have all of these Hexican people out here giving away this information to whole scores of new people. That's the whole point,
for a fraction of the cost.
For a fraction of the cost. Exactly. Ideally, a fraction of the cost. If not, if you're doing something like that already has a formula in a venue that, does these types of things, then there's actually potential for profit there too. Like, I mean, you're not just like, hoping on a prayer. So yeah, it's tough. And like, we have to also remember at the end of the day that there's only like 100,000 staked addresses, you guys, so like pulling more than 300, 400, 500 people anywhere is, just for hacks stuff in real life is tough. It's just tough. So I mean, when there's 1 million staked addresses, I think the parties will be bigger.
Well, think about like PulseCon too. Like, I mean, I know it didn't play out how we wanted to, but like we still don't have PulseChain. So like you have this whole thing centered around something that doesn't even exist. So you can't even market it properly. You can't direct people to something that doesn't even exist. Like it's coming. It's going to be this amazing product that just doesn't exist yet. Like, so what are you really doing out there at that point? it's just like we're sitting there with vaporware. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be good. I promise. Just stay tuned. People have such a short attention span. Do you think any new people that you bring on like are going to think about this in a month or 2 months? Like, let me check in on that random dude that told me about some crypto called PulseChain. It's not going to happen. So
Our very own Cardano.
True.
Wasted effort.
Yeah, it really has to be. There has to be like a call to action at the moment for people to do something right then and there. You know, that's the easiest way to get someone involved. Like now, you know, and then let it. Hopefully, the seed plants and grows, and they can think about it later and shit. But
just a little breaking news: 13 million hex just dumped for $500,000, sending the price all the way down to 0.4 tangent. You're gonna go night. Sorry,
Damn.
bro.
I see the red candle in the back.
Yeah,
I actually
that's
see
the
it.
chart.
I wonder.
That's the chart. Always on chart.
Let's see.
It didn't really move much though, did it?
No.
$500,000 got dumped.
I mean, I can see it from here on tangent screen. That's good enough.
What is
He
that,
must be on like a
5-minute
5-minute chart or something.
yeah, for
15
sure.
minutes.
Hey, can I?
15 minutes zoomed right in.
Yo, Dixon, welcome
Howdy.
back,
Yeah,
man.
Dixon just
Comments
dumped.
comment
That was-
away.
Do
That
I
was
sound
Dixon
okay?
that just dumped, by the way,
You
guys.
sound good, man.
Yeah, how convenient, sir. Welcome.
Oh, that's who dumped. All right.
I think these conventions are kind of a joke just for the money spent on all the structure to get them set up and everything, and the ticket prices and everything. What we need to do is, like, everybody had a really good time over in Vegas, but we need to plan out. There was a lot of stuff to do. There was the penthouse party. There was the dude's mansion party. There was a pool party. There was stuff going on every single day. But what we need to do is fund money to have a media team that actually pumps out a shit ton of content about every single thing about the week. So it needs to be it obviously needs to be a big meetup, but then we need to have months and months and months of content that we can create around the meetup. So the money is justifiable. Yeah. We need to have hour-long videos about the entire meetup week and make it more of a lifestyle of how cool the community shit is. That would be the best thing.
Well, Funding Jim did one of those clip videos. It's on Twitter right now.
We need 1,000 of
That
those.
is where it's like.
Yep.
Yeah, we did one the first time in Vegas. I did, Funding Jim and I did several videos and clips and interviews and stuff that we had from that one. And I agree 100%. The more content, the better. I mean, packaged in a way that is like easily digestible and seems fun.
Like, yeah, it's awesome that Funding Jim put a video out like that, but to go even more on top of that, better quality, better content, better production. And so we can have hours of content more than just a 3-minute video that will be gone 2 weeks from now. We should be able to post stuff 6 months from now about that convention. We should have enough content to be able to post all the way until the next meetup. That's what I think.
Punch hard and effectively if you're going to spend any sort of serious money.
Yeah.
Get value for your dollar spent.
Yep.
And to Dixon's point, I mean, there is endless content at these things, like mansion parties, music events. Like, it's just like it's a content spree. Like, you just pick what you want and what platform and use it best on a TikTok or Insta or Twitter or whatever. So, yeah, I agree with that. Great points there. Hexander,
evergreen content in, man. I agree with you.
Yeah. It's settled. Annual Chicago meetup there, Big K. So
sounds good. Let's do it.
They have a NASCAR race there next year. I'm probably in Florida by then, but that'd be a cool, fun thing. They're racing through the city.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Are they really?
Cool. Yeah.
Actually, sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Since Dixon's here, I saw your tweet last night, man. So you're into some football. Like the Sunday fantasy, college. What are you?
I'm only NFL.
Good. Same.
Only college.
Same. And who you got? Like, who's your team?
Like fantasy team?
I mean,
or football team. I like the Chargers. I like the Chargers.
Nice.
I watch everything though. I bet small amounts on the game, so it kind of makes every single game interesting.
Yeah. That's why I love like Atlantic City or Vegas, because I'll just spend my days in a sports book and throw some money down and just chill and watch who I'm back. Yeah. And speaking of, Fumble Fridays are back. Does anybody remember Fumble Fridays?
I do vaguely remember Fumble
All
Fridays.
right, so it is our one pick knockout. I'm putting the link in chat, so you're going to have to click on that thing there, and then I'm going to.
I think I actually lost last year because I didn't remember to do it. That was
possibly.
In
so let's look at last year's stats because it came down to
you can
myself
see
and Freddie quotes, and then where's Big K? Oh, you didn't put a pick here in here week 4. So
yep.
But anyway, go over to 2022 picks. I'll probably get rid of the 2021. So 2022, this is where you want to be. You put your name in here. So Big K and Motley are already in here. Put your name in this column. Here are all the teams.
I was at like the first week. I forgot last time.
What did
you
Motley
remind me?
Motley is lame. Someone put that in there for you.
You didn't remind me, asshole.
DJ Pollywood picked Carrots, so that was a good one.
Solid.
But yeah. So yeah, do this every week. If your team loses, you get knocked out. Actually, all the rules are right here. Pick one team each week. Win that week, stay in. We talk about it on the show. We'll just check in on this and do like a quick recap. If you win, you can't use the same team twice. Obviously, if deadline to enter before the game.
Can I choose
Sunday.
Buffalo on week 1?
No, you can't. So here's Randy picking now. He picked Buffalo. Yes, yesterday. No, okay. So, but yeah, put your handle or something so it's not just like Jim and we have 5 gyms. But just do a reminder, get them in. If you don't do them now, I know there's gamesmanship. Oh, you don't. It's just for fun. Who cares if anybody sees who you're picking? But we had some fun with it last year, and it's fun to check in on.
Which is the shittest team? Because I don't know any of these.
The Jets. Well, the Jets used to be.
Jaguars are pretty bad.
Jacksonville's a pretty good choice. You're pretty safe with Jacksonville. It used to be the Browns. It's not so much anymore.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen out of my love for NFL after Jaguars just continuously suck. I'm more interested in making money these days.
Which is the ticker for the Jets?
JAX.
Wait, Jets or Jags?
Oh, the Jets, NYJ.
Yeah. NYJ. Okay, I'll go for them.
Oh boy, all right, good. And watch them win.
Are we picking the loser or winner?
I'm supposed to be picking the winner, but you can do everyone's allowed to play it however they'd like,
All right. I put Tampa Bay.
I like the underdogs.
All right, there you go.
Who are Jags playing first? Do you know? Probably gonna lose.
Bet
against my team.
Week 1. Jags are.
Who are we playing?
Jaguars are playing Washington.
The Commanders or the Redskins. Still calling them the Redskins.
Oh man! So we got my original home team versus where I moved to. Interesting. Interesting.
Does Puerto Rico have a team?
No,
we do not have a team.
More of a basketball and baseball out here.
I was going to say I'm very excited about the summer or the fall, the winter baseball league that they do here.
I didn't know baseball was so serious out here.
Well, I mean, it used to be. I'll be honest, it used to be a lot bigger when they had like a regular league here, and it was like a huge thing. But what they do have is like a 50-game season starting from in like November through December. I think it ends right in the beginning of January, and like they have 6 or 8 teams, I think. And there's several NFL or MLB players that come down and play, to keep up in the off season. So it actually is it's a pretty competitive league. So it should be fun. Should be.
I love Jawa's comment there saying NY Jeets.
New York Giants. Oh, Jeets. Oh my God. New York Jets.
Oh boy.
Love it.
So, all right. Next up on the list. So everyone was, rolling along with Hedron. It was like bulling up. We were like, point like what 5 zeros and
Randy
5
was saying,
or
take
6.
Profits.
Randy said take profits, and then
take profits on this.
Where we at the cantina. So Godwill staked. What was it like?
Yeah, my apologies.
Trillions of something.
5 trillion Hedron or something. So that
he's making like 11 grand a day in the Hedron pool, which is the worst like payout pool too. And he's making like 10 grand a day.
Yeah. So I am guessing 360 days from that stake then that ICOSA, he'll be able to take that out and stake all that.
Probably
right?
stake that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you get, prepare to get diluted over there as well. But
wait, what? Can you pull back and explain to me what you are saying? I have cantina shit in my ears. It was nuts here. What's going on? What?
So I think it was like last weekend or ish, Godwale finally staked his Hedron, which then took what was the yield drop, like by 20% or something like that?
I don't know. I'm not in that pool.
Oh, okay. All right, Motley. But
shit's bad.
I'm not in that pool. But
you good for it.
Yeah. So he staked that and then dropped the yield for obviously everybody, and now he's making, as Motley said, like 11K a day in yield from that. That stake, due to the size of it's good for I think 360 days. So when that stake ends, he can end that. He can take all that ICOSA over to the ICOSA pool and then wreck that one in a sense. I mean, we're all still...
I hope he does it that way.
Or worse, dump it.
Nah, it's not his style. Dude has so much crypto coming out of his ears. It's insane.
Hey, Kool-Aid, stop bitching about your link. I sent you one, bro. So, yeah.
Oh, God.
Tell us about those dance moves. But anyway, so any other comments on that? Like, kind of just like it's wait and see now because we have like 355 days until...
I just hope he waits to the end of his Hedron stake to wreck my ICOSA pool.
Because I'm just glad I'm ICOSA.
Yeah, let's keep this on the down low. Leave ICOSA pool alone.
I mean, people are gonna figure it out eventually. But anyway,
okay. Yeah, but they're locked up. Everyone who staked their Hedron, they're locked up, right?
Yeah, but the problem is Godwale has the ability to buy a shit ton of HEX and then turn it into ICOSA. So let's not. Don't watch this, Godwale.
Hello, sir. How are you doing down there? It looks like you came from the club.
Yeah. I have been going hard for 2 days shy under 3 weeks, so it's been a long trip.
Sir, you've been going hard your whole life. What are you talking about? Your body needs a break.
I know. Yeah, I need a vacation from my vacation, but it's great to see you guys, man.
Good to see you. Any comment before we move past Hedron? Latest thoughts? You've been out of the loop, I guess, obviously, but I know Hedron, you're a fan. So
very, very, very much so. Rapping is a good idea.
Kool-Aid would like everyone to rap many Watsas. Oh wait, you can't do that anymore. So.
Silence. I kill you.
It's gone now. It's gone. They're all gone.
The Godwell missed out on Watsa, right? Hey, Motley, Godwell missed out on Watsa, right? He didn't.
I didn't go through their addresses to see if they got any Watsas or not. There are some very large players with very large Watsas, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I haven't looked to see if his addresses are attached to any of them.
How long do you think that? What do you think now that we've settled down on all of that? I mean, I guess it's really we're gonna really have to wait until after this first 90-day cycle really to see how that all goes. I mean,
the yield is probably going to be absolutely amazing at the 90-day point, and then it'll start wane off. This first year is going to be the most lucrative, obviously, for staking in the yield. But I'm just more curious to see how the whole system holds up as inflation does start to come out. What people do with it, whether they restake, whether they provide liquidity, whether you have people that don't know how to take care of the assets and dump it. It's gonna be interesting.
Well, the one thing that Alex did, because everyone was bitching, complaining, all the rest of it, with the ICOSA system, he put a bunch of checks and balances that locked you in for a particular amount of time based on your weight and based on your wallet. So that actually put a contingency to make sure that everything leveled at the same tempered system based on your bag size and based on what you do, which is brilliantly smart.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in a year.
That's right. That's right, Pomo. That's right, Pomo.
See you in a year.
No Motley. What else we have to touch on here? Move through the list pretty quick. All right, Maxi. So we had the Maxi Perpetuals launch. So we had base.
How's that going?
It's not really like 10 million in the small ones. It's slow.
Desi's got 20. Everything else is about 10, sub 10. So couple issues with that. One, I think they bit off a little bit more they can chew, maybe off of the success of Maxi, and they're like, oh, we can fill up 4 pools. 150 million hex is a lot, and unfortunately, the yield on everything is kind of like you're working with a very small amount of hex and effective hex you get from that bigger pays bonus already. So you want these pools to fill up. So hopefully they do, but the problem they're going to run into is everyone's going to wait until the end to see how close these pools are filled up. And if they're not filled up enough, there's no incentive. There's not hardly enough incentive for people to come in because they're already getting cut in 5% to go to team. So you're already reducing that. And then the perpetuals don't have the Hedron, which could be actually extremely valuable in the future at the rate we're going. And then on top of that, the team, you have to give up the most valuable asset in the entire ecosystem, which is the Maxi token. And the team's not as worthwhile if the perpetuals don't fill up. So it's
kind of like a game of chicken, really, because it could come down to like those last few days and people looking at their team. And there's a lot of team that's already staked. Mm-hmm. So it's like, did these guys move too early thinking that these pools would fill up faster than
the smart move to be wait?
Yeah. I mean, I thought from the beginning that like making an event of each one of these pools like would have been a good idea. Like instead of like with 4 at once, it just waters down like makes people not sure where to go or what's the point of one or the other or whatever. I think that if you had like released one at a time, you'd see a lot more demand for it because that's it. This is the one to check out. Here's our 7-year one. We're going to have that open for a month or whatever,
Yeah,
but I mean,
a
I don't
small
know.
change like that would have been very beneficial potentially.
But I don't know. I mean, like what did we say last time? Well, last time we were on it, it was like there's a lot of hex.
Yeah. I mean, I ran
hoping for what 600 million.
I was running the numbers on it. So like the bigger pays better, right? Is like 10% max if you hit 150 million. So I was running the numbers on like 25 million increments on all the pools filling up, and like it's especially if you don't start hitting those targets, the yield is not that great. And then you remove Hedron from it, and you remove 5%. And then if they don't fill up, then team's not as successful. It's kind of like a nasty little bit of a chain reaction there. I wish they would have launched one pool at a time. I think that would have probably helped them greatly.
Because if they had launched one pool at a time and filled each one up, boom, 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 and then when they're like, oh, by the way, there's also this team thing that gets this awesome other cool stuff, boom, and then launch that, you'd be like, oh shit, now I fucking need to sell all my Maxi for that. I mean, I could have seen like a hype cycle that could have lasted like a whole fucking year.
I think we can see it in the price of Maxi too because it's been kind of sleepy.
Yeah, well, it might have been slightly overpriced, but I mean, now more of it's going to get removed from the market. So again, people that are giving up the most valuable asset, probably for a very low yield, and you'll probably see Maxi go on another run here shortly.
Crypto Gains Club. Don't forget you can roll into the next year. Yes. Let's see. Dixon, man, didn't expect all these people to come here because I have plenty of questions for you. But any takes on Maxi, this whole ecosystem thing?
I honestly haven't spent an hour looking into all the perpetual stuff. So unless if nobody else knows, I wouldn't worry about giving me a 2-minute elevator speech right now. I'll learn about it later. But yeah, I've been busy lately and I haven't even looked into it, to be honest with you. As bad as that sounds.
No, all good. Let's see, anything else here? So I guess the last item on the list really is the kind of like a PulseChain update. Kind of.
You got a PulseChain update, sir?
No, from Richard. PulseX. Yeah.
Richard called me and he told me PulseChain was going to launch.
Launch at 90 minutes UTC.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 more weeks.
Kool-Aid. What's up with the Silence of the Lambs look, bro?
It rubs the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Love you, man. Love you. Got a thing in there.
He was like, what were those dance moves, Kool-Aid? You were like tearing it up on the floor. And,
I didn't get to see any of it, so I was clearly the one dancing.
Check the Twitters, sir. Check the Twitters. You're everywhere.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I can dance. There's some would say that I could dance.
Yeah. So what I was saying, PulseChain update. I guess it was more of like the PulseX. So the next thing,
Limit orders.
limit orders on PulseX. So I guess this is all stuff we could have done without at PulseChain launch. So now it's like this is all part of the plan. He's just rolling these things out. Is that kind of how you feel? Your take on it? It's just we're gonna get updates until the actual launch of PulseChain, PulseX, and then we're good, and we'll still get updates going forward. But
I think it's better we're launching after the merge.
I like it too.
I think well, the thing is that the more we can wait, the more they can't fork of us, and so like the play can be very interesting when we actually move our side over to the other one based on what Ethereum's doing, because when you keep having forks, you can't go backwards in time. So we want to have as much of the things that we can before we fork, and that way they can't move off of anything that we do as well.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So I think if we would have launched before the merge, I think the merge news would have taken mind space away and undermined the PulseChain launch. But I think since we're going to be launching after the merge, to me, that's the best case scenario, because I think there's actually a very large percentage of people that don't know that the merge is not going to lower fees.
Yeah.
So after they understand that, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, I've been waiting 2 years for all this and I don't even have lower fees now. So I think that's actually the best possible thing is we launch like 30 days after.
Well, on top of that, when does the staked ETH come out on Beacon? There's that as well. So if we not
potentially months later.
That's ages. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think out of all the narratives too, that was probably the weakest one, was just beating E2.0 to market. I think the other ones of just largest airdropped and just higher throughput and cheaper transactions, like those were the stronger plays as far as the narratives going for PulseChain. So.
Well, on top of that,
however, just to counter that, if they do this ETH proof of work chain, like if the miners revolt and maintain a proof of work chain, our narrative of PulseChain, you get a full copy of all your system state coins and everything, that will happen on that ETH fork.
But they're
so we lose that narrative.
No, that's not necessarily correct. So they become Ethereum Classic 1.9999999.
No, they don't. No, they don't. ETH Classic forked so long ago, it's nothing to do with this.
No. What I'm saying,
no, he was using it as an example.
Yeah, I was using it as an example because the ETH POW will basically supersede ETH Classic, right? And so, like, as that starts out,
I wouldn't think about it that way. Firstly, back then there was virtually nothing built on top of ETH, so all the protocols that have been built on ETH now will be forked onto this new proof of work chain. Sure. And there'll be the distinction that one will be proof of work and one will be proof of stake. So back then, people basically were choosing which chain to follow, and you basically picked one or the other based on which one you thought would succeed, I guess. Whereas now, the choice will be made on what you think is better consensus algorithm, and you'll have the full system state on both. I really think you should not think about ETH Classic in this particular fork. It's like
there's some things that you have to like. The only thing that it likens it to ETH Classic to me is that who is going to support it. So who is going to actually support those tokens on exchanges or ETH proof of work period? Is it going to be?
But that's part of my point. Like last time miners had to choose a side, right? Whereas this time they don't. All miners will go on the chain that has proof of work. So before it split the community because last time the fork was literally identical other than the DAO hack tokens and whether they get refunded or not. Whereas this time they're going to be two different consensus. I personally think it does damage the narrative slightly for PulseChain.
Well, it's in the narrative, but they're going to be infighting amongst themselves, whereas we're moving to our own ecosystem with our own weight and merit and different utilities being built on it. So it's like cutting a baby in half, like the King Solomon thing. Like they have to deal with that. We do not. They have to.
And that's the thing is if like that, like they have to like all like at some point in time, like I mean, part of the narrative of like some of these dead projects can come to some place where they can live now. Like, I mean, it's if proof of work ETH continues, it's still going to have high fees. That's not like they're not fixing that through that situation.
Yep.
So like all
fees
those
will be harm both.
So all those dead projects that we are hoping to possibly draw some of their support away, like they will still have a narrative on our system with low fees that they would like. So that's the one play. The other thing is that like the tokens that come along have to they have like we have brought this whole other new ecosystem with us. There's a lot of forks of these projects of Aave, of whatever. We've got the liquid loans guys doing their thing, the fiat guys doing their own things, and they're very similar things to what existed before, but they're going to be their own unique version of it. So like if those chains, those projects, like Kool-Aid said, have to deal with all of that shit. They have to deal with maybe they support this one, maybe they don't, which front end is whatever. And like we are hoping to like put a little bit of pressure on them. We're hoping to save the ones that need the low fees, and we still are. That's still happening. And then put some pressure on the other ones to say, hey, listen, you've got some value over here. You might want to make a front end that talks to our stuff too. And like, but we didn't need that because other people are going to build out all their shit in forked versions, so like it's a little different in the sense that like the proof of work people will need that for sure, because they don't have like a whole brand new ecosystem that's exploded, that's like about to, with new tokens and new projects to do the things that won't be necessarily supported. They're going to be basically begging those projects to please support this shit, and so like there's definitely some differences there in both of those angles, that we still have a strong selling point of like the low fees are still real, and projects that need that aren't going to find solace in either of those two networks. The only thing that they'll find solace is that like some there might be less traffic on one, or they split the traffic maybe because some people be on one and some people be on the other. That's that. So it might lessen some of the fees. But like,
guys, listen, can I has free money? That's like I like free money, please.
Well, there's one thing that you have to consider also is that whoever owns the wallets where all the sacrifice stables go, whoever that could be, would actually be able to bridge that funds into our ecosystem, whereas the stables on the fork of ETH POW and ETH 2.0 and all the rest of that, they now have to split their stables in half. What does USDC do? I know you guys were talking about that a little bit earlier when I was getting on the bus, that DAI is actually a better way to hold that, because either USDC has to shut everything off that's within that bucket or adhere to that pool on how all that works. But we technically could get all those stables bridged directly into our ecosystem, and again, leave them to deal with what they want to deal with, however they want to deal with it. And
that is the war chest that exists within sacrifice addresses. This is definitely something that neither proof of work or stake sides, have themselves.
How many times have?
So the liquidity that they can provide, that can be provided to places that is deemed necessary, is a pretty strong selling point too.
Yep. And not only that, we also with our AMM harvester harvest everything all into PulseX.
Oh yeah, that's true too. I forgot about that thing. That's cool too. I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences that eventually set us apart, rather than first free airdrop or largest airdrop.
Yeah. I mean, like that's true. A lot of the game theory has been really. I mean, I forgot about some of that shit in the hype of the past year of marketing hype, where you're just like, bro, free coins. Like,
how many times has Ethereum Classic been 51% attacked?
A bunch.
Multiple.
So yeah. I don't actually know the answer to this. I'm asking, but something like I could see playing out. So Tendies talks, or whoever talks about the merge being like a triple halvening for all the issuance of coins coming out. So in the future, who's going to buy ETH, the old ETH versus ETH 2.0, the newer ETH token? Mm-hmm. So if no one's going to be buying the old ETH token, the token price is going to go down. People are going to shut their miners off. Would that not be asking for a bunch of 51% attacks on the old ETH proof of work network?
That's
that
a good point.
that deflationary narrative only occurs if the gas prices are high.
Okay.
You need minimum.
That's
You need
true.
like minimum of about 100 gwei before, and that there are some assumptions inbuilt into that in terms of how many validators there are and shit. But like estimate with some estimates, it's like the fees have to be quite high. If the fees are low, the system actually still inflates.
Okay.
Now, there is a caveat to that in that people that have staked their ETH that are going to be getting that inflation on that side of the system won't actually get their hands on any of that for at least some time, whereas miners, within those first 6 months or so will be, on the ETH proof of work chain, there will be a lot of miners that will be, earning a lot of block rewards of potentially, not full blocks, and we'll see how that all plays out, because there's.
I do agree with basically what you were starting to say, though, the other side of it, of if this proof of work fork happens, that will attract quite a lot of the mining hash rate. And this narrative that's been going on for Ethereum Classic lately, where people think that all the miners are going to switch to that chain and it's going to have heaps of hashing power, and that has been driving the price up, or at least that's the narrative that people have been presenting. In terms of in preparation, people have been speculating that chain will become more secure. That won't necessarily happen if that proof of work chain split occurs, or at least there'll be, people will have to decide where they point their hashing power.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, in forks past, when there has been somebody will spin up a website just like with Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, all that, and like show the hash rates of each of these in the competition, and just like the fact that becomes public knowledge makes it so that people end up writing algorithms like hashing command line prompts to basically run their software to be able to check which algorithm is more profitable and switch to whichever one is more profitable at which time. So like that, I mean, the arbitrage game is strong. It has been since, like I said, since like Ethereum Classic, since Bitcoin Cash, all that, and the stronger of them, because that arbitrage game happens, whichever one actually wins out, like you'll see which one has the stronger community and has the stronger, because like you see it in the fucking chart, you see it, one gets obliterated through the arbitrage process and the other one doesn't, so I mean, like, it's just, the proof will be in the pudding at the end of the day.
Do we think that this ETH merge thing is going to be a sell the news thing? Because I mean, ETH's pumping at the moment. I'm almost convinced that we're going to see ETH below $1,000 at least.
I was imagining $800 was going to end up being our spot. If you want to buy it,
I don't necessarily think it has to go that low, but I definitely think it's a sell the news event. It will be.
I mean, I don't think after this thing. I definitely think it's a sell the news event. I mean, there's people that are taking out. There's people that are taking out like loans on Ethereum hard to bet on this event happening. I mean, how does that shit usually end up?
Liquor, ladies, and leverage. Bad.
I'm just trying to look for this bottom, man. Like, not so much in HEX, but just like the general market. Like, we got like Mt. Gox coins coming out. Apparently, I don't know.
They've been coming out for years, though, bro.
I don't think I know, but like they said, it's.
I've been waiting a decade for my coins, and
still waiting.
But then you got the ETH merge. That could be a sell the news thing, and I'm sure there's going to be some other shenanigans all kicking off. I don't know what the narrative will be.
By the way, something that people don't think of is, this idea of things being priced in. It's possible that this whole Mt. Gox coins getting dumped shit is already priced in. That because people have been going on about it for so fucking long, it's quite possible that shit is priced in. So
the people that have bought, they're holding now, basically we're gonna hold, and regardless of this shit at this point in time, basically, they know. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, that's a good.
It's possible, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people are looking for like, that whole 10K and pray thing. It's a bit of a meme at this point, but I mean, I still think that everything's gonna go down, but this is my first cycle, so I'm fucking noob. But I just looked at like the previous cycles and stuff.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that we're done. I don't think we're done with it. I mean, like, I'd like to, like, here's the thing is like, could Hex be an outlier? Sure. Could we totally outperform the rest of the market? Sure. I would love that, but do I think that the rest of the market, I mean, like Richard said it but the other day where he's like, if November 10th of last year was the top, then and it was 365 days since the last bear market, that was how long it was from top to bottom. So like if we do the exact same thing, then we still have at least 2 more months of down, at least, and then a year of sideways. And that's like at best. I still think that like we could go down and like, the beginning of after next year, the beginning of the year, after tax time and all the rest could be the darkest part, and then maybe we come back up, maybe we go sideways for a while.
That chart that you've pulled up there, Cabana, like how is that the 200 MA?
Yeah, 240.
That does not look good, man.
No, fuck
that
no,
does
that
not look good.
While we have Dixon on, Dixon, man, I'd like to get you on again, for a whole show, or at least more of it, because
the time is like a horrible time for me because there's times in the day where I can like kind of do whatever I want during the day, but then 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is where I'm like finishing up stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's like the worst possible time for me.
Word. Well, I appreciate you coming by, and I know you're a man of charts and price. You speak on a very.
Have you got log on?
What's that? No,
Have you got
I don't
log
think so.
on that chart.
No, it's just the regular chart. But what I was about to ask Dixon is like your take on, I guess your updated take on market bottoms, because you've had a lot of commentary, whether it be with you, Wendy's, Motley. What's your latest take for those viewers who we have here may not have seen you guys chat about it? What's your kind of like thesis going forward here for when bottoms, sir?
I thought we were going to get a bigger leg down in August, but the bull trap came. So with the bull trap coming, like it honestly, everything to me looks perfect for like that exact 1 year anniversary of the top, basically. With people think the interest rate stuff is fixed in, but I really don't believe it is, because the businesses are not taking a hit yet. And people are not taking a big enough hit in the real world yet. So like, can crypto run while we're in a actual recession? Yeah, it can, because like one thing I didn't know that Tendy's brought up to me one time was like there's 65 times more stable coins in the market now than there was in the last bear market. Is that right, Motley?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so like that makes me want to be in the market sooner than later, since we're already down 75%, But at the same time, it's like there is going to be pain in the real world. And
like the Fed wants pain.
They do want pain.
Yeah.
When interest rates on operating loans and houses and businesses gets up to that 8 and 9% level, that's like catastrophic and detrimental to business.
Yeah, no one's making money
on 9%.
Everyone's going to be at a loss.
Right. I mean, just think about like just for example, like a plumbing company, a plumbing business. They go bid jobs. They have to have bid bonds for all their jobs. Just like my girlfriend's dad has an electrical company. He does $8 million jobs where they have to borrow on an operating loan all this money to go do that job. And let's just say they have $1 million borrowed on a revolving line of credit all the time. At 3% interest, you're paying 30 grand a year in interest. Now we're paying 90 grand a year in interest. So someone has to eat that $60,000 difference. Either the company is making $70,000 less that year on that project, or the consumer is going to eat that cost. The consumer is going to have to eat that cost, and everybody's going to have less money, and everybody's already tapped out on credit. So I think everybody, to me, it would make sense that these interest rates are going to start hurting people like towards Christmas. And I think people are going to start taking chunks out of their 401ks for Christmas presents and shit.
Yeah,
people spend so much money on the holidays, it's insane. And they don't have the money right now. So that's what I think.
So I guess like a lot of commentary has said like bottom. There's like a lot of different DCI, whatever, election cycle. So after the election, we're good. After Christmas 2023, I think you were kind of like in the candidate of like a winter-ish bottom. I could be mistaken, but you know, when are you looking for possibly light at the end of the tunnel? It's just depending upon.
We were going to go up by Christmas. Like I thought we were going to go up sooner than later, but like the more time passes, the more I think it's going to take longer. Like tax season next year when everybody's getting refunds, that could maybe be when we start getting up again, you know. But and
it takes time for these rate hikes to like work through. They're not like instantaneous. I mean, but the good thing is the market is a forward-looking mechanism. So it typically looks like 6 months out or something like that. So if we see pain, you know, finally starting to hit, then you know that pain's going to last for a little bit longer. You'll have like bad recession numbers or whatever, confirmation of a recession. And typically when we're in one, it's kind of like the worst is over.
I think the housing market's like a couple of years from really seeing a lot of pain, but the thing is like crypto and the stock market will probably start going up before we see a retail collapse, you know. It's going to slow down right now, but it's like housing just always takes longer than what you would think. Other than the 08 straight drop down.
Well, that's what I was saying. How long did the 08 take to recover? At least 2 years, right? And then .com would have been what, 4, right? Something like that. So, like, maybe as it moves faster. But if we look at the housing market as a forward-leading indicator, we know where we'll be compared to that.
So, one of the biggest things I thought was, I thought that the Democrats would do everything they could to get fuel prices down for midterms. So far, they're doing that. But they're gonna deplete the strategic reserves doing so. Yeah. When they deplete those reserves, they're gonna have to, one, probably fill those, and two, prices are gonna go right back up, because it's kind of like the Black Lives Matter thing where you go look on Google Trends when Black Lives Matter is trending. It's during elections. When are they gonna stop caring about oil prices? The day after the election. So Europe is already in so much trouble. Like oil to me has been the one thing that is going to matter. Like the interest rates do matter because it's going to slow down the economy, but oil is going to be what bankrupts people. That's what's going to be able to make people not live and have to sell their houses at a discount.
So it isn't going to be wheat.
Huh?
Wheat. You know, Richard posted that chart about wheat,
commodities
like a while ago. Yeah. The food prices.
Yeah. It's both. I mean,
you need the
wheat and corn, or wheat, corn, soybeans, and
transportation of all that, all the supply lines.
It's all a perfect storm of just bankrupting everybody. So I think the second that people are going to start getting bankrupt over fuel, over the combination of not being able to buy food, pay for their travel to work and stuff, they're going to have to sell their home at a discount, because the market on houses is going to go down 25% with 9% interest. Like it has to. People can't.
BlackRock's going to buy it all up.
What's that?
And then BlackRock's going to buy it all up because they have the liquidity to do it.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, the houses are going to be at a discount. People cannot pay that kind of interest rate on houses right now. I know people paid 18, 20% back in the day. It's a different day now. You cannot pay 9 to 10% on houses anymore. People are too over leveraged on credit to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. But so like to me, the second that the housing prices go down and people in the market gets soft there, that's when the Fed will pivot, you know, January, February, March, April, sometime around there.
Once they actually have
evidence of pain. Because inflation at some point is going to be better than a depression. Mm-hmm. And I think they will pivot and start quantitative easing and lowering rates before we get into a depression. We're going to have like a nasty recession, I think, but not a depression. And I just don't see a world where Bitcoin just does its own thing and goes to the moon while all this crap's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. It could, like it very possibly could. But the thing is, like I said before on my streams, like I would have put 35% of my money in when we went down to that 17.5 level. But the only reason I didn't was because we have such an amazing opportunity and like such a safety net with PulseChain coming out. It's like, to me, there's no point in risking the capital of if it's at the bottom with how everything is when we have an amazing safety net coming out in 6 months, you know?
Tangent, I want to get your take on this because you've had some commentary that I've taken note of, and I think we talked about it on maybe it was Maddie's virtual conference, just that first hour, like in kind of, you know, a little bit of opposite as to what Dixon was saying. Like, what if everyone is expecting the worst, could the bottom already be in? Like, you've made this argument a few times, I think. And I think maybe, you know, just recently on Twitter, I might have seen a tweet of yours. So, you know, could you explain where you are with that thinking?
Yeah, my main points have been that because crypto in total is still such a small, tiny little baby infant asset class, it would not take much money at all to actually decorrelate it and pump it to the moon while everything else is crashing around it. However, I do admit that it's still being treated like a risk on asset. So while I would like to see people within crypto stop, like, has everyone noticed how every crypto YouTuber is always talking about macroeconomics now? Everyone's suddenly a macroeconomics
expert now.
and it reinforces that correlation. If every person is looking to these people for how to think about crypto, or at least as some of their inputs of what to take into consideration, and everyone's talking about macro, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy that macro then starts to influence how crypto performs. So I'd like to see us move away from that as a broad crypto community, to move away from this assumption that we are correlated to macro. And so that they're basically the two conflicting, they're the two counterpoints.
To me, like, I'm not saying the bottom is not in, you know. I think if it was not this time and place, I would be buying this market right now. 85, 75%, 60%.
I agree.
But to me, it's not worth the risk when there's such an amazing opportunity coming. And we've never been through any, like, we have the exact opposite scenarios of the last time Bitcoin had a bull market. Last time Bitcoin had a bull market, interest rate was 3%. Inflation was low. The DXY was dumping. Now inflation's high. Interest 9%. DXY pumping. It is 100% the opposite of the last bull market. And granted, I do want to buy when everybody's fearful, like Tangent was saying. But to me, this almost does seem like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost at this point.
I mean,
like where the people that do get in right now, they might be smart, but and I would be in without PulseChain, but I've
got one other point actually that you just reminded me of, is that, you know how noobs will basically noobs will always treat Bitcoin like a risk on asset. Because they don't understand deeply enough its value prop. The institutional investors that are coming in are fucking noobs. So even though they're coming in with larger scale, they're noob to crypto. And because of their legacy mindset, they're also more likely to treat it like a risk on asset. So yeah, it's all those aspects of it are bad news.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, as well, though, is that, like, if the cost of living continues to go up and up and up, you've got those, like, die-hard hodlers of Bitcoin and whatever. Like, I'm never fucking selling. I won't sell until it's like $1 million or whatever. Bro, if they're, like, going to lose their house and they can't afford to eat and all of this, they're going to sell it. They have to. There's no fucking choice.
This is the Orca quote. Everyone's diamond hands until they aren't.
Yeah.
It's true. Have you guys covered the whole Michael Saylor being indicted for the fraud thing?
I mean, we haven't really touched on it, but
I mean, it's kind of interesting with that, and then everything else with, you know, how much MicroStrategy actually holds.
Oh yeah, but I mean, do we think he's really going to get liquidated? I think he, like, even if we go down to like 15, like, I think he's still in
I think the
position.
tax bill that they're hitting him for is like 25 mil or something. It's
Yeah,
tiny
24.
for a dude. Like it's tiny.
It's so crazy that they can get away with that shit, and then they get like fined with a pink, like literally throwing a fly at someone.
It looks to me like it was a targeted attack, that they're suing him and his company at the same time for this crap. And it's like, they know that rich people will legally mitigate their tax liability, right? It's legal tax avoidance. It's not tax evasion, it's tax minimization. Mm-hmm. And so for them they just happen to target the rich guy that is the biggest proponent of Bitcoin. Interestingly, there was just a tweet today on Twitter that he's looking to raise another $500 million for buying Bitcoin. So I'll see if I can find the tweet.
Massive DCA.
Well, I heard that he
DCA $500 million.
I'm just thinking about his lawsuit was that he was claiming he was living in Florida, so he wasn't paying any state tax when he's not in Florida for 6 months.
Yeah, it was some kind of residential thing.
Yeah. Well, that and his yacht's parked in DC. I think that's how they got him, right? And then I forget like the specifics of it, but I think that's what I was like. Yeah, his yacht's here, so maybe.
I hate when I park my yacht where I don't want
That was the hardest problem. Like, dude,
you Americans, you've
and
got the weirdest fucking state laws ever. Like, it's just so fucking weird, man. You cross the border and all of a sudden, like, you have to pay double the tax and shit.
But MicroStrategy's in Northern Virginia, I think, maybe not DC. So maybe his yacht was parked in DC or whatever.
They just got lost. It's not far from DC, Virginia. He just got a little lost on the way.
Yeah, just right over the border.
Yeah, you missed the exit, right?
Yeah, his residence is in DC. Michael says that he's not claiming taxes there.
He's going to be very happy with his fucking boat driver or whatever they're called.
Boat driver,
yacht captain.
Yeah.
Captain.
Oh yeah, captain. is captain
boat driver?
Boat driver.
Daisy.
Before we put a bow on this, I just wanted to bring this up. Maybe just get Dixon's thoughts on this real quick. So I pulled this up last week. It's just the 20-week versus 40-week. So it's kind of like the cyclical versus secular. So I guess 2013, we kind of like broke that top and then we were off to the races. So with the exception of COVID, we've held the 200 for a while now. It's, if we get back down to it, we're 3,600. So it's 4-ish. So that would be a retest of that bottom. Do you think that bottom holds? Because kind of we're bumping up, as you can see, the 40. We touched it once or twice there. And we're kind of like in no man's land. So I think once we get out of this up to the upside, we're in the clear. But it's just like how much churn, we could chop around in here and have some violent moves all the way down. That's another 460 points to that 200 that we can, assets can really feel crashy.
So
least.
I don't really care. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really care about the technicals of it. I think fighting the Fed right now seems silly to me. Like, could it go up from now? Yeah, it could. But like fighting the Fed when they are intentionally saying things because they want this market to crash seems silly. And to me, like the points that would make sense is wash out all the money that came in after the pandemic, because we went parabolic after the pandemic started. Yep. Like who would have thought that? Everybody's locked in their houses, but we're all getting free helicopter money. And you go look at like the HEX chart the day we start getting our stimulus checks, and there's $1,200 orders coming in like a son of a bitch. It was $1,200 for pages and pages of.
That was my first buy. Was that?
And I mean,
Great
to
buy.
me, the biggest thing was. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought here.
Talking the V bounce, COVID dip, and
like I could see us having like a capitulation in the stock market and going under it, just like what happened during the COVID dip. Maybe not that extreme, but I think going down to the 200 and closing somewhere around pre-COVID levels would make the most sense before the Fed reverses. Because right now the supply chain actually isn't getting better for a lot of stuff. So I talked to an executive at John Deere and I talked to a CEO of a very large equipment company. They said the supply chain for them is going to be worse in 2023 than it's ever been in history. They thought it was bad in 20 when there ain't nothing moving. They thought it was going to be bad in 21. Their forecast was everything was going to be fixed in 23, and they've changed their forecasts for parts, everything getting manufactured overseas, just everything supply chain. It's all actually going to be worse in 23. And I even thought it was going to be fixed. And that's why I've been chomping at the bit to start buying coins and buy a little bit of stock market stuff. But mainly I wanted to get back in the market before Christmas because I thought 2023, everything was going to start reversing because the biggest part of inflation is the supply chain problems. Our supply chain's so screwed up, and that's what's making there's more demand than we can get shit to the country. And that's the biggest part of our inflation. And that's only going to get fixed until, one, we start choking people out with interest and with the Fed to where they stop spending money, or two, the supply chain gets fixed. Well, I hear from two very reliable people, the supply chain is so far from getting fixed. And I thought it would be fixed by now.
Can I make one quick point? Sorry.
No, go ahead. But I was just basically going to say, like, when everything shut down, everyone had back supply of everything, right? There was safety nets, there was protocols, there were people, there were employees. Everything got kerfuffled. People quit. There's no back reserves of anything. And so right now, you just look at flying on an airplane where everyone's luggage gets lost. There's the infrastructure it hasn't been rebuilt from the ground up, and still doesn't have the old guard, the reserves, and everything to squeak it through just like it's always been. And that's inherently the issue right now between inflation and everything else, is that there's no back reserves, there's no employees, the supply chain is broken. The companies that were available to take on that heavier load are gone, and everything is just collapsing now on top of itself. So it really is a perfect storm across the board for many, many different things, till everything actually gets its time to get its coffers right. Just like we were talking about the reserves of the oil. It's a Band-Aid, but when that reserve gets pulled, there's not even a Band-Aid left.
Yep. So I was just going to make one quick point. If you just zoom out a tiny bit, Cabana, to where 2008 was, because this, to me, just looking at this tiny little chart that I can barely even see, this fractal here.
Cabana, turn log on. What are you doing? You know better than this.
Yeah, you should put log on.
Come on,
S&P, it's not crypto. Okay.
Yeah, but right, you look at this fractal. Look at, I think it's 2008 where it crossed and it went down. Does this not, what's happening now? Does that not look exactly like the same fractal?
Yeah, it lines up pretty well.
One more thing. One more thing I want to bring up about the supply chain is, like, the supply chain is so messed up right now. But even if they fix the supply chain and start getting shit to us, we have another huge detrimental problem. Is that just John Deere, for example? Even if John Deere does start getting the parts in to make all their equipment, they do not have the employees to make the stuff when the stuff comes in.
Correct.
So we're going to have a second problem after the supply chain gets fixed. And this goes for every single company and every single executive I talk to. They are running into the exact same problem. And honestly, I don't know what I can't figure it out, because supposedly unemployment's at 3%. And I don't know a businessman that can't find employees.
Yep.
But then every time I talk to somebody, everybody I know is unemployed. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I don't know where the problem is.
The books are cooked.
But, yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. But yeah, I just, just a quick anecdote. Like, I went out, the grocery store the other day, and there's a guy, by the store in the traffic intersection holding up a sign, any change, money, or I would like a job. And then I pass shopping centers the next turn, and I'm like, dude, you could just go across the street and get a job. But it's just, I don't know. Yeah. The whole thing's messed up.
What happens when you pay people not to work?
Yep.
One other thing to add to it, like, so
man, where I live, there's so many homeless people now, like so fucking many. It's actually crazy, and there's so much help and infrastructure over here for that as well. Like Motley just said, you keep giving people money to not work. This is what is the result, essentially.
Pay people not to work, and then the double-edged sword of then inflating their money into nothing. So, like, even when they're like, okay, let me go work. Well, you don't pay enough because now the cost of living's gone up so crazy. Like it doesn't matter. So there's no more motivation. You just kind of created this problem.
In the UK, it's so shit because like we call it benefits. I think for you, it's like social security or something like that.
Welfare.
Welfare, yeah. So if you're on benefits in the UK and then you go and get like a regular 40-hour a week average salary job, you end up like £200 or £300 better off. Yeah. Like but you work 40 hours a week and then actually you do lose money because you get full rates and everything else. So like we have to pay taxes for like your council and stuff. Your taxes go up loads, so that £300 that you make actually ends up being a loss in the long run. So there is no incentive to work if you're on like the lower end of the income scale. It's so shit. It's totally backwards.
So I think the United States is about a year away from having like one of the greatest manufacturing booms it's ever seen, ever since whatever the big
World War
boom
II
was back in the 50s, 40s.
You're going to
building them Sherman tanks.
It is going to change because Caterpillar, John Deere, Case, all these people, they get all 95% of their stuff from overseas. Yep. They saw what happened during COVID. They saw what happened with the supply chain.
Bring it back in the house.
They want all of their stuff getting made, not all of it, but they want a lot of their stuff getting made in the United States now. So Caterpillar goes to a manufacturing shop near me and they say, how big can you get and how fast? The only, like, these guys got money. The only thing stopping them from getting as big as bigger than anything I know. The only reason stopping them is getting employees. They cannot get the employees to get bigger. And it's a massive problem.
Yeah, the whole re-domestication kind of thing. Like I had started in traditional, mainly got into crypto the past few years. With the fiat that I'm still, making from my business, I'm putting that actually DCAing into that thesis in traditional markets. So like a Rockwell automation, like the robots and software that's going to be cranking all this stuff out here.
Manufacturing is going to boom in the US.
Intel is actually, once they, probably 2 years out, but the chips will all be brought over here in my opinion. So the stock sucks. The chart is dog shit. But when that hits, like Dixon was saying, like I think it's like that reshoring or re-domestication, whatever you want to call it, that's a big theme for the next cycle. And that's kind of how I'm investing in companies like that in traditional markets. So
there's also a double-edged sword with we outsourced. I mean, gaming industry, everything's bloody outsourced. But like with manufacturing and all the outsourcing we do with all of our hardware, our chips, our fabrication, our parts, now we don't have boots on the ground. But when we start putting automation in there that you don't need the humans to do it, now they don't have a job, but the companies can run. So it's going to be an interesting dichotomy to see how all that works, because the real issue is we were going for cheap labor, parts, and utility in other countries. And now that we can't trust the fact with supply chain issues, there's going to be a push towards automation. Now, automation inherently of itself, it's like the issue with clean coal back in the day. Like, do you think that a coal miner wants to go back in and breathe that shit? No, they should be trained to work on solar or something like that. Something that's new tech instead of like digging up rocks from the ground. Because when you can automate digging up rocks from the ground, why would you submit your health to that? But then the people that aren't trained will also just be left behind. Being a retired truck driver, once trucks can drive themselves, which will take a while, it's one of the last blue-collar jobs you can get, right? You can either join the military, be a truck driver, or be a nurse or CNA, right? Those are the old blue-chip jobs that you could get and maintain and have a future. When most of that stuff gets automated, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It's funny because one of the first videos I ever watched, probably the second video I ever watched of Richard Hart's, was his how to get rich in life. And it was talking about you have to sell something. You have to make your money work for you when you're sleeping. And then you have to create a business that scales. It's funny because like a year after I saw that, by 2019, that was one thing I always disagreed with him on, is the worst thing you could ever do right now is build a business that scales. Yeah. Like if you're selling a course, that makes sense. But starting the infrastructure for any
brick and mortar,
advertise and market is like the worst thing you could ever do right now, because there is an abundance of businesses you could start today and make money tomorrow. Service industry stuff that Richard actually told you not to do back in that day.
Mm-hmm.
But the best way to make money to buy crypto without having a job is start a service industry business, because
I kind of agree, but I kind of don't, dude. I kind of. Oh, sorry. Go
ahead. I was just making the point. I was reading an article about the dude that bought the Walmart pizzas and then sold them as DoorDash as regular pizzas and got 5-star reviews.
Nice. No, I used to run a servicing company, right? And yeah, it's great. You're right. You can make money literally like tomorrow doing it, but you have such a low ceiling.
You have a low ceiling, but you can put that money into crypto tomorrow. When if you want to create a business that scales, you have to advertise and grind. It takes Amazon a decade to finally get to being profitable. It takes all these
maybe there's somewhere in the middle of all of that.
Just run a service industry, make $120,000 a year, put 70 that into crypto every year, and scale. That's the way to scale these days. That's in my opinion.
Yeah. Problem is, when I ran my servicing company, I didn't even really know about crypto. So
I know. That's kind of how I was in the early days, and it just kind of clicked to me. It's like, why am I working? Like, why am I doing all this shit?
I personally like luxury watches, right? And like one of the watch companies I watch all the time, they work on terrible margins, like 5-10% at best. But one of the watch companies guys, like they invest in crypto, like they've just been allocating a percentage of their profits into crypto, and it's enabled them to scale way above any of these other like watch gray market dealers. It's kind of interesting to watch.
Yo, Motley, you like luxury watches? Do you like this one? If you can see it.
What is that thing? The Seiko, Casio? Casio. Nice.
It's a 90s. It's a vintage 90s Casio.
It's a vintage model from the 90s. That's the next one, brother.
You need the calculator one.
Oh, I met someone at one of the fucking Lambo races who had one, and I was like, "No way, man! Let's go." He overpaid for it though.
Of course,
paid like 30 quid for it. You know, they were only about 20 when they came out, but yeah, hey ho. I fucking love this watch, man. It's so cool. I won't buy a Rolex. I'm not bothered.
I mean, anything from the 90s that's still alive is pretty much unbeatable and unbreakable. If it's still around. Yeah. They used real plastic back then.
I reckon this is the original battery and everything. Like...
Possibly.
Oh man. All right. So that was, some real talk. Possibly some would see bearish or depressing, whatever. It's reality, and we want to, stick around, ride out these bear market cycles, and hit the bull. Whether you're DCA or patient, it's up to you. We just try to, talk about potential paths and scenarios. Let's turn our attention to a couple more fun items before we go. This weekend is opening weekend for the NFL. So I know Tangent and or Hexy Bastard might not have too much input on this, but we did this last year. It was fun. I think I took Tampa over Kansas City, so that did not turn out well. But Super Bowl picks this year. I think after further review, it's a rematch of last night. I'll take the Bills over the Rams, but in the Super Bowl, Motley, any take? If not, I'll go over to Big K.
Nope.
All right, Big K, you're gone. Dixon, it's me and Dixon. Who you got in the Super Bowl, man?
The Bills and I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really even thought about I'm going to say the 49ers right now, and I don't like that answer.
Yeah. And that's another pick that's been talked about. I see them, Tampa, and the Rams. Rams looked awful last night, but I think they'll figure stuff out. Big K, got a pick before we move on?
I was initially gonna say Tampa, but it doesn't sound like Tom's got his head right now. So I don't know, man.
That, and I don't know if the O-line's going to hold up like it did last year, but
yeah. So let's go Niners and I guess the Bills are the best. Like they're gonna crush. They're probably gonna crush everything. So
like we're all picking the Bills.
I mean,
The Bills are looking good, man.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like Kansas City. I like Kansas City too, and that on that side too. But yeah, the Bills.
I think the Broncos have a good chance, actually. The Broncos are solid.
Yeah. The Broncos were another one I was considering too.
They just needed a QB. They got receivers. They have running backs. Yeah. And defense.
I'm getting a buzz in. I'm getting the jams in my ear. I gotta let y'all go.
All right, we're closing out soon. Where can we find you, Big K? At Big Kurkowski.
At Big Kurkowski on Twitter, on Telegram, on all those places. Check out thehigheststakes.com. I'll check y'all later.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And last
I might peel out as well, if that's okay.
Well, we got like minutes left.
Get some sleep.
Peace out, Tangent. Go night. We did not make your 4.3 cents.
Shit. Yeah, I mean the price recovered a tiny bit, but not that much. Yeah. Good night. Stay free. Really fun chilling with you guys. Really fun having chats with you guys, and I'll see you all soon.
Thanks for calling, brother.
See you in a bit.
Good to see you. All right, Motley. This shit show of a UFC card has just turned upside down in the past few hours. So I'm going to bring
everyone's fighting different people now.
I'm going to bring up what we have for tomorrow night.
It was funny. I was on their site, and at one point, Tony Ferguson was fighting two different people on the UFC. They did.
Got a triple threat WWE match
at the same time.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start from the bottom. So Li Jinglang, I guess, is fighting Dana Rodriguez. I don't even know where he came from the card because I just had the two highlighted. So Lee was supposed to fight Ferguson.
Tony, yeah.
So Ferguson's now moved up to Diaz. Do you have any take on that bottom one there?
I'm not too familiar with them. I don't even know the Daniel Rodriguez guy, so I'll probably just go with Lee.
All right. It's now the ones that start to matter. So Chimaev, it was embarrassing. Embarrassment for the sport,
8 pounds, I think. Bro.
He did not even care.
No, he didn't. He wasn't sucked out at all. He didn't even try.
No. Him versus Holland. Holland have any chance
here? Yeah. I mean, Holland's good, but I give it to Kamzat. I really wanted to see. I honestly did really want to see him fight Nate, but more for the purpose of I think he was going to actually destroy Nate.
Yeah.
And he probably really was going to destroy Nate if he didn't weight cut and sucked out because he's already huge. Like he has to really cut to get to 170, and he didn't bother to cut. Like he stayed at like 180. Like, bro, that would have been mad. I'm sure Nate Diaz went to like Dana right away. It's like, if I'm going to fight this dude, you're going to pay me a shit ton of money if he's not even going to cut weight. Like, fuck.
Is it the last fight on his deal too?
Yes. Yes. This is his last one. So I guarantee you he was not about to fight that monster. If that dude wasn't even going to cut weight, like he was going to ask for some serious money.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've rearranged the card because of it.
Yeah, pretty much just the top, all of it. Nate Diaz and Tony, who you got?
Oh man, I think both these guys are at the end of their career.
We're ending up with a good main event here.
Well, yeah, it's a great main event. I would like to see these guys fight earlier on in their careers because I think both of these guys are kind of at the end. And they're both very similar. They're nasty. They like to throw hands. They both like to scrap. They both have similar levels. They both actually have really good jiu-jitsu.
They both enjoy pain as well. Like
they got crazy
pain.
They love pain. They love blood. They got crazy endurance. Like they are actually probably some of the most similar skills on this card. It's pretty wild, actually. I think I'm going to give a slight edge to Nate only because Tony has taken some serious damage in his last fights. Like the last head kick knockout he got was like brutal, and the dude's had some pretty severe head trauma. So I'm going to give Nate the advantage just because Tony's had his lights put out or close to put out in the past couple fights.
Yeah, I like Nate and Chimaev. So
yeah,
there you go. That brings us to the end of this week's show. This is the part where we shill ourselves. Motley Investor, where can we find you?
Motley Investor everywhere. Go to hexmerch.com, t.me/Legion VC News if you want to go chat on the Telegram. Stay tuned for mine, Tindy's, and Nikki's course that we're working on right now.
$1,000 private Discord. No, wait.
Yeah, 100%, $1,000
per week.
Yeah, per week. It's subscription based
and get dumped on.
But no, yeah, just stay tuned for that. And yeah, Motley Investor everywhere.
Hexy Bastard, where can we find you?
Hexy Bastard on Twitter, YouTube, poorpleb.win. We did nearly $1.4 million on the sacrifice, which is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, now get people into the community, bro.
Yeah,
what are the plans, sir?
What are the plans?
Yeah,
bring the masses.
I can't tell you.
Oh, don't give me that. I can't tell you shit. Yeah, I hate that compound. So cheap.
Honestly, the nuts and bolts of it is like, so we're obviously the only way that you can get out to these people is by paying, because these YouTube show guys are grossly, they just only do shit for money. But after a certain point, I'm hoping that the word of mouth between these communities will work, because it's free money, right? Like, these guys are going to have to talk to each other about it. Like, ship guys are going to know ship guys, flaky guys are going to know flaky guys.
Well, how's your plan to get it out to them? I know you probably can't say.
I can't say specifically, but I just kind of did. I just kind of did.
Got it.
Yeah,
I got away, Hexy. Don't worry. I got away. We'll talk later.
Yeah,
There's loads of guy away for everything.
We'll talk about the show if you want. Crime map on the ceiling.
Easily not wrong.
We can talk about it in the green room.
Yeah, I've got one little show and tell, if I may. I had a tattooed on the other day.
Oh, hold on.
Basically, if I can even show it, hang on. Will it work? Fuck me. Hang on, I'm gonna have to move the camera. So there's the poor pleb. That's me, the bastard. PP. And oh, what's that? That looks like Affinity right there. There we go.
Show me what you got.
Those ones are old, to be fair. It was just those three, the bastard, the PP, and then the Hex logo. They're the new ones. So.
Oh, I thought you got that whole sleeve done.
No. I've had that half sleeve for ages. I'm just like adding to it, but nice. had to whack the
it fits well.
Had to whack the Hex logo in there, just
Very nice. Yeah. Before we get to Dixon, I'm going to put the Fumble Fridays link in the chat one more time. Go to
pick one before I forget.
Yeah, go bookmark it. Before Sunday, pick before Sunday. We'll talk about it once a week till we have a winner. Dixon, man, thanks for making the time to come on. I know like the schedule sucks for you, but at least wanted to get you on because I've been loving your
full thing.
Yeah, loving your content. So where can we find you for those who don't know?
Twitter and YouTube. That's it. Dixon Piper 69. Favorite number, favorite position. Nice. Had to.
Well done, sir.
Nice. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sell me something.
We'll leave it there. Yeah.
I want it.
Crypto Kool-Aid. Who is the friend?
My cats have literally been not had me for 3 weeks, and they are very, very, very happy I'm home. That's Cooper.
Larry just left. He just left out a big bucket of food and water.
I have the neighbors checking in on them. Yeah, they are very happy to have me home.
Yeah, and if I can speak for Kool-Aid, because I'll ask him, where can we find you? He'll say,
absolutely not. Do not like, subscribe. Go like and subscribe. Rags to riches. Rags for president. There you go.
There you go. That is how you don't find him.
Tweeting out, sending gift baskets to Rags. You do that, you're good.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you, chat. You guys were awesome. Awesome viewership, awesome questions, cool interaction. Love you guys. We're going to do it again next week, and we'll talk, we'll update the Fumble Friday. So the link is in the chat one more time. So go there, put a pick in. Motley pick the Jets. No, I'm just kidding. Look yet. And we'll see you guys next week. Looking forward to it, and take care out there.